Hi doing everybody, I'm Stranger Sam with this, and welcome back to the Sonic Generations Projects playthrough. Right, as you can see bursting towards us with brilliant blue flames, we're moving on to the Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 project. As you might imagine, this particular project aims to port all the stages from Sonic 06. So, let's get straight into it. So as the Unleashed project started off with the Sonic Unleashed tutorial level, the 06 project starts off with this kind of weird little bit where you're running along a highway. Basically, it's a looping road, and essentially at one point there's a button you have to press in order to release those lasers I think we just passed, to then actually go on and beat the level. The funny thing is, I'm fairly sure this is actually a bit in 06, but I can't remember where. My closest bet is there's a couple town missions in Shadow's campaign where you get taken to this weird sort of highway bit that looks a lot like this, and you're meant to try and destroy this car. I think it's meant to be like you have to try and stop a thief or something like that. Yeah, it must have been, I'm not entirely sure, but if that is actually the case, that's actually really cool. They actually went ahead and started compiling the assets from the town missions as well. One thing, I did decide to crossfade out most of this mission. No offense intended to the modders, it was just because as this level is mostly just circumnavigating the motorway and dodging cars and whatnot, I just thought that as that might take a little while, I'll crossfade to when I actually press the button. And bam, there we go. Oh yes, also in the spirit of starting up the 06 project, I'm using the Sonic 06 style Sonic from Brianu Sonic, aka Brianu Sonic Reborn on YouTube, who I think is also kind of like the team leader on the 06 project. Okay, so the 06 project actually has cutscenes, so what I thought I'd do is, even though I'm fairly sure if you're watching this video, you probably know a bit about these games anyway, I'll let the cutscenes play out, but if there's anything I've sort of noticed I might want to make a comment on, I'll dip the audio and say my piece. Oh no, not again, not again. Someone left some chips on!
Miss Elise? It's all right. We give thanks for the blessed flames. May we always continue to have peace. Son of Soleanna, guide and watch over us with your eternal light.
I would really love to see some behind the scenes footage of Lacey Chabert recording these lines. Just because it would be so great seeing someone who was in Mean Girls reading out that speech, you know what I mean? Must admit, call me a complete weirdo, but I actually really like this incarnation of Eggman. Which is kind of funny, because they still play him as quite like an affable villain in this, despite the fact he has sort of like the design, which means he could probably pull off doing some of the more evil stuff like he did in Sonic Adventure 2. Oh god, yes, the Blue Emerald. Okay, this is one of the geekiest things I've ever found incredibly, amusing or interesting, but, the Blue Emerald in this is, in and of itself, evidence of how time travel made this story go absolutely bonkers, right? I went on Sonic Retro, and one of the little segments they have on their page is a thing where they track the position of every Chaos Emerald through the story, and most of them are, people actually have managed to track them. But my favourite thing is the Blue Chaos Emerald is technically, in and of itself, a paradox. And why is that? Elise has presumably had the Blue Chaos Emerald as a lucky charm for years. However, whilst Eggman's kidnapping her, she throws it to Sonic, who then later on takes it to White Acropolis as a ransom for Elise, where it then goes into Robotnik's time machine. Silver then takes the Blue Emerald from White Acropolis after being the Egg Genesis. No idea why it was in Egg Genesis in the first place, but later on he ends up using it with Shadow to open a portal into the past so they could both witness the Solaris project. Now at this point, Silver gives the Blue Chaos Emerald to the young Elise, who then presumably wears it for years, and ends up getting it taken from her at the Festival of the Sun, years later. The Blue Chaos Emerald is essentially locked in this time loop, despite never having entered it. How could it have entered it? Apparently, it didn't exist beforehand. But strangest amethyst, I hear you say. Elise had it at the start. Yes, because Silver gave it to her in the past. Where did he get it from? From the Egg Genesis in the present, meaning that Eggman must have put it in there after Sonic gave it to him for ransom, after Elise threw it to Sonic, in the first place? What the hell is going on? People, ladies and gentlemen, please be careful with time travel in your stories.
I'm afraid our little game ends now.
Sonic, take this!
Oh my god, I heard that line so many times in my third year of uni just because it became a really big in-joke between my group. So anytime we just had to hand each other anything, it was just like, hey, take this!
It's only a matter of time before it's mine. Until then, you can hold on to it for me.
Actually, that's another thing I really like about this incarnation of Dr. Eggman. His theme is so good, but with the really sort of powerful, dramatic orchestration and that sort of stuff. Absolutely love it. It kind of complements his sort of more realistic, kind of going for full-on evil design, I think.
Sonic!
Tails! Long time no see.
I'm glad you're here. I heard that you tried to save their princess from Dr. Eggman. You're going to rescue her, aren't you? Let me help. I may not know what Eggman's up to, but it can't be a good thing.
Okay, with your help, this should be a piece of cake.
I'll do my best.
And there we go, at long last we return to gameplay, right. So, this is Soleanna. It's a bit barren, but you know, it's home. Just Blaze the cat, just hanging out over here, minding her own business. Totally not putting in for the silver boss fight that's going to occur later. Right, so without further ado, let's get going and get over to Wave Ocean. And we can go straight there. I mean, there's no, like, shoemaking guy we need to help in order to get enough money to buy the Lightspeed Dash. No, we have the Lightspeed Dash. We don't even need the Lightspeed Dash, because there's just a spring we can use to go over there. Now that is efficiency, people. But in any case, all jokes aside, absolutely amazing they managed to port the blooming Soleanna town model pretty much perfectly. I mean, there's a couple of, like, sort of weird textures here and there, as you might notice on, like, the pillars as we come over, but all in all, it's brilliant. I don't know how people do this. You modders, what can I say? Anyway, so this is Wave Ocean, and I must admit, one of the first things I realised as I started to play the 06 project was just the fact that the way Briano and co have actually managed to tweak the Sonic Generations physics to fit the 06 levels, while still keeping a very fluid and actually, like, you know, very fun to use control scheme at the same time. It almost seems to actually improve these levels in a way. Like, you realise that, to a certain extent, the levels in Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 are actually quite well designed. They're actually very enjoyable to traverse, especially with Wave Ocean, where they've got, there are, like, sort of alternate pathways, but oftentimes it's kind of, you've got the quick pathway you can take if you're, like, good enough. If you actually managed, as I said in my in the very first part of this playthrough, I believe, if you're actually able to hit the rainbow rings and whatnot, and then you've got the slower path you end up taking if you miss them. So we're getting onto the whale section now, and we're also coming up to a bit which kind of blew my mind first time I played it. At this point, you usually grab onto the whale, yeah, as you can see here, you usually grab onto the whale and switch to Tails. Here, the 06 project actually seamlessly switches to the next section of the level, and they've all just been all the parts that the Amigo characters go through have been adapted to work with Sonic, like here. Admittedly, I must admit, even though I said about the controls, like, this kind of semi-precise platform where you're completely on your own feels a wee bit odd. I think just because Sonic feels really heavy, it builds momentum quite slowly. Which I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. Like, after Shadow the Hedgehog, where he, like, zoomed off immediately, you know, I don't particularly mind. But I think they knew, at least to a certain extent, that unguided platforming was going to be a bit awkward, because as you saw just there, they put the little Iblis monsters and Eggman robots there, so you can actually just homing attack straight onto the next platform. Actually, one thing that happened just there that I think might be a glitch. The pole I was swinging on, I think I hit the right mark there, and all it basically did was just pretty much just drop me. It turns out, well, I replayed this level afterwards. I didn't record it, unfortunately, but I intentionally failed that the little swing thing, expecting to get dropped off again. And it actually reacted correctly, as in Sonic swung upwards and hit himself straight onto the switch that Tails normally gets to open up the gate. Which is a bit weird. I don't know if that was... I mean, that seems a bit weird if it was intentional. Like, you know, you have to fail in order to get the right outcome. Then again, this is just like a preview/demo of the 06 project, so it could just be a bug. You never know. And now we move on to one of the coolest parts of the 06 project. Sprinting away from the thing and moving straight into the Mach Speed section. What was that? No 20-second load time? Oh yes, you better believe. We just go straight into it. Oh, it's amazing. This bit especially, this is one of the parts that really benefits from its remake in the 06 project, because, you know, bumping into anything doesn't immediately hurt you anymore, and like, if you were so inclined, you could just go around exploring the Mach Speed section, because it is pretty much exactly as it was in Sonic 06, except I don't know, it's so much more fun because, you know, you can control yourself a lot better, you can slow down if you want to, and it's stuff like, it's kind of funny because I do find that, as I said, like to reiterate my point earlier, with the Unleashed project, it was a great sort of implementation and in some ways embellishment of what was already a fairly solid gameplay foundation with Sonic Unleashed. But with 06, of course, it was, without wanting to be horrible, it did not have the best gameplay in the world. The controls were, oh god, any sort of full-on platforming, you were just like, oh my god, please don't die, that sort of thing. And then Brianna and co come along and remix all the 06 levels with sort of generation-style controls, and it's amazing, they're so good, it's so much fun. And that, in a nutshell, is why I'm so glad the 06 project is a thing, and I hope it manages to see its way through to completion. Though in any case, this demo, pretty good anyway, there you go, pretty good.
It looks like the princess was moved to another location. Let's head back to the city.
No, keep following them. Keep following them. Okay, fair enough. Just gonna go back and get lunch, I guess. Alright, well, I suppose I'm gonna call that a part in this case. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Oh. Yeah, this is the one thing. The 06 project is still a demo. This is the third demo, I believe. So obviously there's some glitches. In this case, one of those being that occasionally, sometimes I think this like the Soleanna hub world might fail to load, and unfortunately that means you get stuck in an endless loading screen. Well, you know, what can you do? It's a demo. It's still being worked on. Right, next time, once I've replayed the mission so it saves properly, we'll move it on to Dusty Desert. We'll see how that goes. Right, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I've been Strangest Amethyst, and I'll see you next time.